I'm Steve Jarding with Brian Moran's campaign for governor here in Virginia in 2009. We have a primary coming up on June 9th, and I personally believe that there's never been an election really in recent memory that probably had as much riding on this one as some of the ones in recent history. And I say that as someone who was involved very directly in some of the most recent races, ran Mark Warner's campaign in 2001, in a tough time in Virginia, kind of a turning point for us. Did Jim Webb's campaign in 2006 when people didn't think we could beat George Allen, and we had a primary opponent that outspent Jim rather dramatically. And there was a lot at stake in those races, and we were able to win those, and I think set us up for this election in 2009. But I want to take a couple minutes today and tell you why I think this election is so important. If you look at what's at stake going into 2009, there's so much into this June 9 primary that matters. And if we pick the wrong horse, my fear is that we're going to have a difficult time winning in the fall. And my horse is Brian Moran, and let me tell you why. When you look at what's out there and you look at Brian's background, the 20 years experience fighting for Virginians, it's huge in Virginia. People want that. Mark Warner knew in 2001 he had to be connected to voters, and Mark worked awfully hard to go out, move around to all corners of the state to campaign for folks. He set up venture funds. He connected to the state because he cared about the state. I think that's the kind of guy we have in Brian Moran. But look at what we've got in 2009. If the Republicans win in the fall and we nominate the wrong person, a person who can't win in the fall, and again, I believe Brian is our absolute best shot at winning. But if we nominate the wrong person, we have ramifications not just in Virginia. The Republicans now get a foothold. They take back the governor's office, and I think that is the beginning, potentially at least, for them to try to turn the corner back and to take this thing back. We have redistricting issues. If we have a Republican governor as we redistrict after the 2010 census, it's going to be very difficult for Democrats to get any kind of a foothold or any kind of an edge that is very normally given when you control the governorship and you have the capacity to control the redistricting. But there's a lot at stake for our other folks. As I said, I ran Jim Webb's campaign in 2006, and I can tell you that if the Republicans get a foothold here, they're going to be emboldened coming after our candidates down the road, whether it's 2010 or 2012 or 2016 even. It's a very big deal. There's a lot at stake for Tim Kaine, our governor. The governor, as we know, has done a terrific job, and he's now added responsibilities at the Democratic National Committee. There's a lot riding on it for Tim Kaine. He's been a great governor. We want his legacy preserved, and I believe we have to win this race in the fall to make sure that happens. Frankly, there's a lot at stake for Barack Obama, for President Obama. He's out with one of the most aggressive and bold plans that we've seen in this country probably since the Great Society of Lyndon Johnson, the New Frontier of John Kennedy, arguably going back to the New Deal of Franklin Roosevelt. This president is here at a very critical moment. But Republicans are looking at this race. They're looking for something that they can, put their hat on and say, okay, we turned a corner. If we don't win the governor's race here, my fear is it will not just affect Virginia in all those ways that I just talked about, but it will have national implications. And that's why I believe that as we're taking a look at this race, look at these candidates, look at some of their records, look at their proven experience, look at the individuals and how much they've moved around. They put themselves on the line for Virginia, for Virginia's Democrats, for our candidates. And when you do that, there's really only one candidate that rises to the surface, and that's Brian Moran. It is because of that that we believe that if we can target our vote properly, and we think we've got the group to do that, it's the same group essentially that we had for Jim Webb that we put together when Jim had to target a very low turnout primary, and we were able to overcome the odds. Jim was never ahead in any polls in that primary. He wasn't ahead in any polls in the general, but he won both. And he won it because I think he was smart. He went out with the right message and the right messenger, and those two things are key. Brian Moran is the individual that has the right message, the fighting for people. These are tough times, and people are hurting out there. They want a fighter. They want someone who's going to go to bat for them, and they need it now more than ever. And like I say, it's also the messenger. This is a guy from Northern Virginia where there's a base. We saw it with Jim Webb. From 2001 to 2006, about 400,000 new registered voters in Northern Virginia, and we're finding they're voting somewhere 65, 70% Democrat. Brian's got that base up here. We think that he can not only win this primary, and when he wins it, he clearly is best positioned to take on Bob McDonnell. So all of those things for us, for the Moran campaign, for me personally, who's been directly involved at a very high level in the last couple of winning campaigns in Virginia, it is the type of person we need, it is the times, and it is the right message. So hopefully you'll be able to support us and to go out and vote for us, and let's work hard and make sure that we don't give the Republicans a foothold they're seeking.